Hey guys! As you know, I have decided to play a training match with my younger brother who is rated around 2100 on Lichess and around 2000 on chess.com to train for my upcoming chess tournaments. The format is 35 minutes per game per each opponent with 30 seconds added after each move. And yesterday I lost. You can check out the game using the link below. I lost a very painful game, and today I decided to get my revenge, to try and come back. Let's see if I manage to do that. So I'm playing black, and again, the French defense is on the board. It's my trusted weapon against e4. And here my brother chose La Bourdonnais variation. It is not a very popular variation because here black occupies the center immediately with its d-pawn, and already it is equal. Black has equalized out of the opening. La Bourdonnais was a master of the past from France. He was dominant in the first half of the 19th century. He has played some brilliant games and he liked this variation. My brother has not played competitively for several years, so he told me he doesn't remember the theory, and he decided to play something unorthodox against me, which is a wise decision because I remember my theory, and in other cases I would probably also equalize, maybe even outperform him in the opening because I know the intricacies of the French defense with the black color. So I liked his approach, even though it's objectively not the best one. Tried to take the center, he develops, and this move d4 prevents him from developing his knight to c3, and also I'm trying to play aggressively. Remember, I lost the previous game, so I need to be aggressive, to take the center, to try to squeeze the win out of this game. So he checks me, I cover with my knight. Initially, I thought about covering with my bishop, and here probably he could have exchanged, and I would have taken with my queen, because this square is the best for my knight, not this one. But I decided to block with my knight because I had a plan of going a6, and either he has to part with his bishop, and I would have a two bishops advantage, or he would have to go back, spend a tempo on going back, and I liked it. Well, the computer says this is not the best move, but it's not horrible. So he castles, I kick back his bishop, he goes back, and I take up some space here. Here he should have gone a4. We have analyzed this game together and decided that he should have gone a4. In this position, I wanted actually to gambit a pawn. I wanted to go here and then go here and be very aggressive, threaten d3. The computer doesn't like this. The computer says that white just goes d3 and is a pawn up and everything is great, but I decided I wanted to do that. And if the computer takes here, in some future, I don't even need to take immediately. This pawn is always up for grabs for me, I thought. But that was not the best decision here. Fortunately, he didn't go a4. He went c3, trying to do something about this center of mine, which is also a logical decision. But here I go knight b6, protecting this pawn, and I'm threatening d3, trapping his bishop. So he goes d3 himself. I go knight h6. I want to go either here or here. And this is a very strange square for the knight. Usually it would not be wise because white can take and spoil my pawn structure. But in this case, this f4 pawn plays a negative role. Had it been here, it would have been better for white. He could have just taken. But he cannot here. So he develops, which is not the most accurate way to develop, but still is logical. I develop my bishop. He takes, and here of course I could have taken, but I decided to be fancy and I went here. Because if he takes my pawn, I can capture like this, and if he moves here, I have a forking a queen and a rook. So here he has to block with d4, give up this pawn, and I can take it, check. He moves here, and I have a pleasant position, I thought. Well, the computer says it's equal, so maybe it's nothing special, but still. But he didn't take. He could have taken and gone for this variation. But he decided to go knight b3, and here this allows me to take back. And now again, this pawn is a thorn in white's position. It enables knight jumps here in some variations. It also prevents this pawn from moving upwards and giving space to this bishop. So this bishop is effectively dead, or at least it needs some time to activate like this to this diagonal. This knight is not so good. Knights on b3 are generally not particularly impressive. My knight can go here, so my knight on b6 is better potentially than this knight on b3. And I evaluated this position as more pleasant to play for me, although the computer says it's absolutely equal and it's just boring. We can just go home and say it's a draw and let's meet together and wait for the next game tomorrow. But we're not computers, so we play on. Here he moves forward with g4 because he's a very aggressive player. He doesn't want to wait. He wants to attack me with f5, f6 later on. But this allows the move that I was intending to play, which is knight e3. Otherwise, had he not played g4, I had in mind something like knight d5 and then jumping into e3. So it's already not pleasant to play for white, so I can understand g4, at least it's doing something. Here I jump in, it's not a fork because white can take. And here this position is a little bit better for black because even though this pawn is weak and maybe in future white could try to win it, but it's very difficult in practice. It's not possible to win it, at least for the time being, because I have this comfortable square for my knight that could be a great defender and also attacker. So that's what I thought, and my intuition turned out to be correct. I'm a little bit better. Queen c1 tries to attack the pawn, but it's not a very good move. The correct way to approach such positions is to look at the open lines. And this is the open line. And you should never put your queen on an open file where it could be attacked by an enemy rook. Enemy rook, which is here, could attack the queen and gain a tempo. You should only do this in case it's necessary to maybe gain some positional advantage, win material, maybe infiltrate on this square. Had he been able to, for example, go here and then rook here and then queen here, that would be a nice position for white. But it's not the case here. So queen c1, I just defend, and this pawn is defended. This pawn is attacked. I'm a little bit better already. He moves this way, and I just castle, which is a mistake. A mistake because I saw this move that he wants to make, fork me and take my two bishops advantage away from me, but I decided that I'm okay with it, that I need to castle. Turns out that after I made this castling move, I realized that the best move was bishop h4, threatening this maneuver, and actually white cannot really stop it. The best course of action for white is maybe to sacrifice the rook for bishop and a pawn and have some counterplay, but still black is better. So I saw this too late. I castled, and he went in with his knight c6. And here I thought he'll probably take, and I'll still enjoy some positional advantage, but not a huge one. No, I no longer have the two bishops advantage. But he decided, he told me that he can take my bishop later. He tried to activate his bishop, and I immediately used the opportunity to save my bishop and to do the same thing as I showed you before. Bishop f2 is threatened, a very powerful move. And you should notice that after bishop takes d5, which is a mistake, but really one that is understandable. He doesn't like this knight. He wants to take this pawn in future, so he takes. But after this move, I can take with my queen, and there is no fork to the king and the queen because my bishop protects the square, which is very important. And also, he cannot take this pawn because his knight is hanging. So I got a great position. And I'm threatening this, or this, and this battery will be fatal. Very unpleasant position for white, very difficult to play. He went knight queen c5, which is a nice move, actually. He wants to activate his knight, and in this position already he's not that much worse, because my bishop is very restricted. It cannot enter into the game, so this is a very double-edged position. But of course I don't trade, I don't take his queen, I move e2, which is the best move in the position. I attack his rook. If he takes, I can first take with a check and then take his queen. So he has to retreat. He tries to sacrifice the rook, and I can take, and the bishop for a rook is a nice trade, but I don't need to rush. I decided, I took his pawn first, which is also the best move. Here I'm proud of the way I converted this advantage. He tried to win this e2 pawn. I first attacked him over here. He attacked my bishop with his knight, also protecting this knight. I traded, and here, only here, did I take. And this position is not only is he material, down material, but this position is very difficult to play for white because the king is wide open. Maybe the pawn should be here. That would have been better, but still lost. So I went here, attacking the knight. He went back, and I don't even take the pawn. In such positions, when you are better, you don't need to go pawn grabbing. You need to activate pieces, and you need to prevent any counterplay that your opponent can master. So the ideas of the opponent are obvious. This, attack, maybe jump in with the queen. Let's imagine a hypothetical scenario. I take the pawn, he goes here. I don't know, I try to do something like this. He goes here. If I go here, he goes here, and then here, and checkmate is threatened. Yes, I have some defense like this, but even this is, in the best case, I have just a perpetual check, because mate is threatened. So that would be an ideal scenario for white. Counterplay, I don't want to give him counterplay. So in this position, I activate and I attack his knight. He takes the pawn, I activate. You see this second file is a perfect position for my rook. Now the queen is paralyzed. The queen is stuck defending this. And the rest is a matter of technique. I use my other rook to double up. I infiltrate with my queen. Here I make luft for my king. It's just prophylactical move. He tries to initiate some counterplay, but I attack him. Now I threaten queen h1, which is unpleasant. He goes here. I give him a check, and I move here. You see, this is a nice maneuver. I go here and then here, but with a check, so winning time. Check, king has to move back, and then queen d5. Now I'm tripling up. This is called the Alekhine or Alekhine's gun, due to some games that Alexander Alekhine, the 4th world champion in chess, played with tripling up down the file. So he just waits, stands and waits here. Also, this is threatened again, so he has to go king f2. Here I go rook d4, attacking the queen. He cannot take because this is a pin. He goes back. Now I attack the queen again. He tries to defend. Of course, I can trade queens, and it's also a winning endgame, but I decide to give him a check and put pressure down this line. He takes, I take. He tries to initiate some counterplay, maybe check me over here, but this just loses because rook f4 check, king g3, and rook d3 check. He resigns here because if he takes, I take, he takes, I have, I of course can check him and win the rook, but also I have g5 checkmate in one move. And also, if he, in this position, doesn't take the rook, this rook, but takes the other rook, here I also have a checkmate like g5 or queen f3, checkmate, so I don't even need to take this queen. So I managed to come back in this game. Tomorrow we will play the third one, and the day after tomorrow, the fourth one. How did you like the game? What's your forecast for upcoming days? Who will win the match, me or my brother George, who is very powerful? Much respect to him, to fighting even in the last position. See you tomorrow. Goodbye.